say that he knew a tailor comes to making suit. The man is the master. If you show him a man coming round a corner, he could make him a suit and don't even measure. A talking about suit, sitting down correct, expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, make suit for Hamlet, and up to this day yet make a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild, they couldn't cool down. I say liar, the lion losing the crown. The judges brought the crowd back to order and asked the lion to lie about a tailor. He said my man is the best, Rolf is his name. Cutting cloth, making suit is his game. Don't show him the man, my tailor is class. Just show him the corner where the fella pass, and he gon' make a suit. That is tailor. You hear lie? King liar.
Teacher Bossy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Flip it up. Pick it up. Line up. Move it up. Let it go.
Teacher Bossy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Teacher Bossy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if a lie asked me good friend Mackie, it was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lying champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies, big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on liar the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He said his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide 80 feet in span. He had to tighten the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
I don't know why Elsina she put full terror. I don't know why Elsina she put full terror. Because day after day the woman was saying she man named Henry Ford from the USA. I say who? She said the man makes a motor car. That is my man, he's a millionaire. He just give me money, I don't take. I say plenty money. She say wait, money by the buckets, because I love him, I won't take it. Don't doubt me. If I tell you something, terrible ball, he does give me motor cars and all, and he watching me straight in the eye. Oh my lord, that woman could lie. She damn lie. I haven't a thing to give Elsina, but yet she says she loved her. I said, darling, you can't fool me. No love without money. Men like Henry Ford and Paul Getty have money that they could full up the sea. So don't try to fool up my brain with lies. You know the woman is across and they start to cry. Say they gives money, I don't take. I say plenty money. She say wait, money by the buckets because I love them I won't take it. Don't know me. If I tell you something, there are you gon' ball. They just give me motor cars and all, and she watching me straight in the eye. Oh my Lord, that woman could lie. She down like. The last time I met Elsina at Shaka Cubana, she said this place belong to me. Tara, do you love the scenery? I said yes, honey bunch, I am proud and glad to know you're only nice portion of Trinidad. She said I can bring the receipt to show. I bought it from my Indian in Miaro. I have my own.
Columbus was a mighty sailor. He sailed the open seas. He went down in the Caribbean and he called it the West Indies. He said he found a new world and he expect me to believe. But how could this world be new when it's much older than Adam and Eve? Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. He said he discovered the whole of America. He never tell nobody. He had to run from Apache. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied so bad. I believe Columbus was mad. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the worldwide web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, it's not Columbus lie, Rowley lie. Rowley lie. Rowley lie. Yes, indeed. Just replace Columbus with Rowley.
Indians who discovered the lands before Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. He took all the glory, oh yeah, for many discoveries. The truth of the story, those lands were discovered already. Columbus lied. Columbus lied. Columbus lied like hell. I am sure his head wasn't well. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, blah, blah. No. I can't remember my lover.
I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if a lie asked me good friend Mackie, it was a big lying competition to see who they will crown as lying champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies, big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a few like about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on the lion because I know he must come with some good ones, but they had a younger fella named Debo.
Yeah, let me lower this. I say you must refer to Rowley, political King Kobo liar. King Kobo liar, the scum of the earth, and of course a predator, not of sort, but unrelentingly so, a predator and a pervert of exceptional quality. Yes, blasted pervert. That is what we are doing.
Why, sir? Check it out. Liar the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Depot, ain't said nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish, you just hit
all
the
of them.
spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great. But it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show. Completely eliminated Mr. Depot. The next man to beat was really outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The lion agreed.
Yes, indeed, people. Once again, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, as the introductory music would have indicated, it is all about lies. You see, and repackaged lies. What do I mean? You see, the Rowley administration, led by, of course, King Lear Rowley, have this proclivity, this propensity. It's almost as if it's an obsession. It is idiosyncratic. It is normative behavior. Yeah. To lie, and then lie on a lie, and then lie on the lie that the lie before, and then the lie again on top of that lie, etc. You see, the evidence is so pellucid. The indictment is so poignant. The evidence is overwhelming that they cannot escape. You see, in the last presentation by Rowley, in his response, or should I say, his contribution to the 2025 budget, he did it again. Of course, you will ask on what now, Lennox? Obviously, that's the question you will ask. What again? Because you came and you dealt with, of course, Imsbert and his stupidity with respect, of course, to the statement made in the court, and try, of course, to neutralize it by saying that no longer must we focus on 2027. We expanded on that, and we, of course, laid the foundation, not just laid the foundation, but generated the argument to show that the man is a consummate and unadulterated and habitual mendacious individual. Yeah, and therefore these people are cursed as far as lying is concerned. And they remind me, of course, of the Greek mythology. Yes, that Greek mythology where Sisyphus, a person who was damned, a king I believe it was, who was damned by the gods, and his task was to roll a big stone up a hill, and as soon as he reached the top, and he said, oh boy, my work is almost done, and it's just to tip the rock over to go over the other side so that gravity will take charge and, of course, have it roll down the other side. Guess what? Somehow, the rock, the big stone, just slip out his hand and roll back down the valley. And he has to go back down the valley to do it again. Well, that is Rowley and them. They believe that they can do that over and over and over and don't expect a different result from the people. Well, of course, it is said that if you're doing something over and over, particularly if it, of course, it is pernicious, if it is affecting people negatively, and in the case of a government, if they have mismanaged, if they have demonstrated that they are culprits, they are criminals, and that they are mindless as to the impact they are having on people, then it is even more bizarre, and we must take note. So just like, of course, that Sisyphean anecdote, just so is Rowley and they. But of course, on another occasion, I did in fact, of course, equate what Rowley and they are doing as far as lies is concerned, and of course their disconnection with reality, the reality that we have about their performance and their impacting, and therefore we can conclude without any fear of contradiction that they are simply indolent, the lazy, they are con men and con women, and simply do not know what they are doing. They are incompetent, impotent. It's a bunch of charlatans, quacks, in other words. And that has been happening over and over. And of course, the other analogy that I would have made to that is that a little toddler fixated by, let's say, a cup of hot water on a table that the child could reach. And don't matter what mommy does, preventing the child from, of course, pulling down that cup of hot water on him or herself, the child still gravitates, no matter what you do. And of course, whilst you can excuse a child, you cannot excuse Rowley and his bunch of incompetent, clearly nincompoops, and the persons who clearly must have a date with the criminal investigation units of this country for the purposes of blue lights and silver bracelets. That's not waste time. That's not waste time. So I'm going to show you tonight once again that quite apart from what Imsbert said in the recent budget, in his conclusion, about the Revenue Authority now being the savior, now being the mitigating factor, so that we, the population, will not have the prospect, as they said, one, in Imbert's, of course, evidence to the court, arguing for, of course, the Revenue Authority, but realizing that, of course, waiting until 2027, the population is upset. They are impatient to get rid of them politically, and impatient for Rowley to call an election, which of course he wouldn't call, but until, of course, it is constitutionally maximally due. We know that. But the longer they stay, as I said, is an oxymoron. The longer they stay to call the elections, a shorter will be our patience on them, waiting on them. They will cut our patience. But of course, it is inevitable that they will deepen and further cement their position, and of course gravitated to wearing blue suits, consequential of blue lights and silver bracelets. Has to be. That is how the cookie crumbles, and that is the inevitable outcome. You know you are doing wrong. You know that you have lied. You know that you have gotten your wealth illicitly. You know that you have exploited the population, particularly the most vulnerable. You thief from them and all. You thief from the children. Huh? You thief from the sporting fraternity. You steal from the cultural fraternity. And then you engage, of course, without any kind of prioritization. You engage, of course, in projects and programs only designed to get kickbacks and, of course, line your pockets And don't tell me I don't understand what I'm saying, because the whole question of recusals and one man recusing himself 100 times, etc., and we can go on and on with that. And of course, the orchestration of the procurement legislation in such a way so that, and then of course eviscerating it, I think it was Section 7, where the government has free reign at the level of the cabinet. The procurement regulator can't touch them. And that was a big debate, which of course one senator caused it to pass. An independent senator caused it to be passed in the parliament. Well, I say they have done a disservice. I don't care what they say. If I was a senator, if I was a member of the parliament, I would say the same thing of another senator, simply because that is a clear case of betrayal of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and the betrayal of the trust reposed in the office that you would have held, and that therefore you have of course infringed your oath of office to do the right things to all for the benefit of the nation. And clearly that decision was not for all and in the benefit of the nation. It was for Rowley and his small group of individuals. And he loves to talk about he has only 22 cabinet ministers, and somehow that is supposed to save us from some kind of profligacy, waste and mismanagement. It's hogwash. It is a poor instance of reverse psychology. How the hell a 22-member cabinet, as opposed to Kamala Prasad Bisesal, maybe 40-something, double that, member, would save us, or would have saved us from having an expenditure over the last 9 years of $500 billion, $500 billion. How does having 22 members save the country from having a minister in your cabinet whose brother came in with a little known financial institution, and the cabinet, the government, depended on his institution, give him contracts so much that he now has evolved into, of course, a merchant bank, an investment bank. How having 22 members in your cabinet saved us from number 1 and number 3 and other properties around Port of Spain, including, of course, opposite to the Town Hall on Frederick Street, and of course on Abercrombie Street, the corner of Abercrombie and Oxford Street, and indeed the IQA building in Barataria that houses, of course, the Ministry of Finance, where all of the plotting and all of the rolling out of the property tax is taking place on 3 floors that the Ministry of Finance has rented, connected, of course, to a member of the cabinet, Al-Rari, and his family. How does that save us? How on the tail? That is old talk. That is reverse psychology that has become obsolete, and that people understand what that means. It is superficial and superfluous. It does not take away the level of profligacy, the waste, the corruption, the nepotism, the cronyism, and of course the absolute misappropriation of the resources of the country by Rowley and his small, according to him, emasculated or truncated gang of thieves and incompetent individual. May I tell him about? So he beats that all the time. But the point I want to raise tonight, in terms of the lies that was repackaged in the last debate on in the lower house, of course, in the House of Representatives, as far as the budget is concerned, has to do with Rowley himself now. Has to do with Rowley. Remember, we played here some time ago, and we established that for all times, for posterity and for history, etc. You know, Rowley, on the question of the property tax and his position, you know, this man come with another lie. Like they have this, what I consider to be pathological disposition. Yeah. They have this, not just proclivity, not just tendency, but they seem to be saturated with a bottomless pit of abuse of the English language and pretending or believing that somehow they are good at semantics and therefore can say the same thing over and over, and the population will take it as fresh, as honest, and that they are serious and that they are legitimate. I say this illegitimate bunch, this decrepit group of individuals who clearly is suffering from last days syndrome in government because they are desperate. They are desperate. They are paranoid. And let's go to the lines before, of course, we can continue further because I'm continuing to be annoyed. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, Mr. Lennox, good night.
Good night to you, my dear.
This property tax thing, well, I not paying, eh? I say that and I say it.
I have ignored that. I have used. It ain't even good to be used for toilet paper.
Listen, hear how he fool the foolish people at Trinidad and Tobago. He say if you ain't pay, they will take your property and sell it.
Yeah, all of that.
Who buying? Yeah. Who buying? The place in a mess. People don't have money. Who buying property? Eh? And what about all them people in Hill all about all who living in the bush all in Paris and thing? They going all there to see these people how? A set of foolishness.
Yes.
It's not to pay to crash the program. They're taking with money to give it away.
That's right.
Right? It's giveaway. They want to pay bill for all them train and platform and all kind of thing. I see they going again talking stupidness about they going and work on it. Something come out in the news now. I ain't take it on too much because I ain't have time with them with their stupidness.
No, all of these are to justify. You see, for the local government campaign, it was for property tax. So you're looking for reform, right?
Yeah.
But there's no reform. Look how long. You didn't even mention that again. They come with something else again in order for people to lamb to the slaughter. Yeah, to
them to take up people's property.
To take people's money.
Yes. They're selling. If let's say about 8,000 people pay and they're looking to seize their property, you will see how much bacchanal it will have inside of here.
You're sure right. A caller just hold on. I have another caller on the line. Yes.
All right,
if they had to light the place on fire for nobody to get it, as is, they will do it. And even if people purchase the thing, they will light it on fire.
Of course.
I'm done with that.
Yeah.
You think it's easy? And this thing, I don't like Stuart Young for no leader, you know. I find we should pressure them, let them have the internal election and elect a leader, whichever stupid one they have they to go instead of Stuart Young. Right? Let it be the right way.
The whole of the PNM must go. Nobody could emerge different from Rowley. They have a culture.
They must go. We must want back with money, all this money they spend in train one and then giving indemnity to Mark Luquan or Luquan, whatever his name is. $24 million. And people asking where the money going. It go on inside of there.
That's right.
You hear? We want them to be sanctioned. Let them explain the wealth, all kind of thing, and they have to give up the asset. It ain't no shitting go. You can't go just so. We have to do that now. And
Blue lights and silver bracelets, man.
I watching and I waiting to hear when the lady get a response from them 16 organizations she write to get observers inside of here. I will be asking, it's now a month by now, I will be asking this right through. I want to hear if 4 or 5 of them answer and say their comment. That is what I interested in. Have a good night.
Same to you, my dear. Same to you, my dear. Call back anytime. Yes, indeed. Of course, we have another caller that was waiting on the handset. All right, call back, caller. Sorry about that. We missed you. We know we had you waiting, but you know how it is sometimes on this program. But yes. So apart from what you learned last night, the reversal, the diametrically opposite position of Ibsbert as far as the relenting on the period for which we have to wait until the second quarter of 2027. The madman say that they win the case, and because they win the case of the implementation of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, somehow he go collect enough tax to make up, and therefore the pressure that they predict we will be under is preempted, short-lived, or truncated. He feel that we are asses, and then telling us that it's $8 billion that they lose from non-taxation or people not paying their taxes, and he hope to get $1 billion out of it, and therefore that will solve that problem. The man is a consummate ass. And watch this. I want to move on because of course the focus is on Rowley tonight as far as the property tax is concerned. But I want to say this as well, that it was Imbert who told us in those. You remember he had some tax amnesties, and he commended the workers of the Inland Revenue. A pleasant good night.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox.
Yes, go ahead. Apparently I have you in on the phone. Oh.
And pleasant good night to the right-thinking citizen of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Lennox,
hey,
you can recall that under the Kamala Prasad People's Partnership, one of the best administration that ever run Trinidad and Tobago. You remember when it had a day of policing?
Had a what?
A day of policing.
Oh yes. Remember that very distinctly.
Block all corners to try to make our sitting government look so bad. And I think the person that had it allegedly was Mr. Roger Alexander.
Yes.
Them going out, them living in Trinidad again, how we don't have no day of policing again? How they want to have no day of policing in Trinidad and Tobago again? They want to block no corners, they want to stop nothing. It's only good for when Kamala Prasad is in office, and when she out of office, it's good. So it ain't good. So we ain't doing it. But right now I was looking for a day of policing for them to block all corners. But I ain't seen that. So I really want to know, like they're trying to make people believe in their mind, the thought that, and divers having the thought that this is P&M country, but we say no to that.
That's
because
right.
the Prime Minister tell we 3 more years down the road when he would not be there, we will get victory. Right? So we add in that 3 years, if we just add in it. Look how many years you had to wait to get victory from a man you put there to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And he tell me that nothing, but you buy a big time car again. You just buy a fleet of Pajero a couple years ago if for correction. You didn't want to go in the Benz that they had there because you say allegedly it had vomit in it. Now the country don't have no money, as you say, but you're buying Benz to ride again. How much vehicle Rowley them want, and they're telling me that pressure. You're telling me that pressure. I want to know if you citizens of them ain't seen this boy, if they ain't seen what's going on, Mr. Lennox, if they have seen what's going on. We're supposed to be hitting the streets every day in this country.
Yeah,
These
definitely.
politicians in office not supposed to get arrested. Because everything they're doing is to profit themselves, their finances, their family. It starts from Casabon painting. It starts from sheep and the people still walking around, or some of them, or the ones of them who blind to the truth, still balling, they spearing them till the dead and the dying. We have a high stream of murders. They talk about all kind of different corruption. The greatest set of corruption that we had in this country is petrogen. I believe petrogen is one of the biggest corruption. Because
it has affected our quality of life directly and indirectly and standard of living. So it is, and this group must be held culpable. The entire cabinet must be investigated criminally for, of course, making that decision against the interests of the people and against the oath of office, which, of course, they swore to do the best for the country. You cannot do the worst for the country deliberately and expect it to be not account criminally for your conduct. That is misbehavior in public office by any stretch of the imagination. But go ahead, my friend.
Well said, Mr. Lennox. And Mr. Lennox, you close down petrogen, and on top of that now, you bring your lawyer, and you put your lawyer in certain parts of petrogen where the police can't get no information.
That's
because
right.
You put a lawyer there to cover up everything.
Your
and
lawyer.
People are seeing
Your
these
lawyer.
things.
Yeah.
And then the same person who name calling the corruption, who the prime minister call and tell him he hear his name calling. So he say he was awarded almost $100 and something million of taxpayers' money. So I really hope that some of the people who eye close and they're suffering silently, or they wake up now, or they wake up and see the light now. Oh God, or they wake up. How many more are dead? How many more are can't buy nothing in the grocery? How many more have to be homeless under this wicked, devastated typhoon administration run by Dr. Keith Christopher Wicked? He's the wickedest man I ever know. But all that will come to a close sooner than later.
Yes.
Rowley, do all of Trinidad and Tobago a favor. Oh God, call the election now, brother. All we're trying to put in place, we go undo it. And that's all I have to say, Mr. Lennox. You have a good night.
Yes, man. Yes, my friend. Well said, my friend. I want to focus on 2 points that the caller made. You see, because it is fantastic that people could be so conscious and aware and knowledgeable. It's clear, knowledgeable. You see, because your common sense, those of you who may say that you're not involved in politics, well, let's make it clear. Politics determine the quality of air you breathe, the kind of electricity that comes to your home, the regularity and the cost, the quality of house that you live and where you live, the kind of roads that you travel on, the kind of school, both in terms of curriculum and in terms of the physical plans, the kind of hospital service that you would get, the kind of sporting and youth programs that will become available, the kind of cultural activities that we'll be engaged in, the kind of welfare state that Trinidad can focus upon. All of that is because of politics, understand that. And worse, depending on your context, but of course, I want to say, greater than that, you're telling me that you have to work for yourself. No! The kind of businessman you become, the kind of job that you get available for you in spite of your qualification is as a consequence of politics. Now, you may not be able to make the relationship, but let me show you this. Let me show you this. Let's say you want to, we'll start with an ordinary person and we'll use maybe a mechanic. A mechanic, of course, will survive by fixing vehicles, obviously. All right? But if there's a curtailment of the importation of vehicles, and this government will talk about, of course, banning combustion engines vehicle and then go for electronic, what will happen? It means, therefore, by one stroke of the pen, all the vehicles that you know that you could fix and you're hoping that will come your way by way of your skill, you have to retool. That's a political decision that affected your business. So don't tell me he's a mechanic and he's a hairdresser. And of course, if you're a hairdresser, then the rotary chairs that you use, the mirrors that you use, yes, the type of products that are available. If the people don't get foreign exchange that is made available by the government, you can't import those very, of course, popular greases that you use, or even what you used to call long time the ironing comb. Yes. Yeah. Or the chair that has, of course, all inclusive, where of course you have this headset that you put on in order, of course, to dry the dryers, in order to dry your hair in that way. Politics. Understand that? So don't tell me that you are a hairdresser, or you're a mechanic, or you are a banker, and on your own you could survive without, of course, the getting involved in the politics. That is what is the situation. You could jump high, you could jump low. And let me just conclude by saying, the price and the quality of food that you get in the grocery, all of us must eat. And when the government put tax on even items that you purchase online, and they put a tax on it, what do you think that is? Trying to avoid those unscrupulous importers who would have the same product here, but they will sell it at an exorbitant price. But if you could go online and get the same product for small money, but you have two challenges now. The government imposed a tax about 2 or 3 years ago on things that you would import that you get online, and secondly, you can't get foreign exchange to buy it, even though, of course, you're willing to pay the tax. Understand that. That is government. And let me tell you, the caller just mentioned why it is a cardinal sin that they committed against us when they closed down Petrotrin. Yeah. You see, the oil, gas, and petrochemical industries provide 80% of our foreign exchange. So you understand why you're not getting, because Petrotrin closed down. Understand what is happening here. And therefore, let us dismiss that notion that somehow you are not affected by politics. And I've been talking to the religious people as well, in the individuals. Whatever church you're going to, I want to show you how politics affects your ability to even go to church, and the kind of church that you, in terms of accommodation, and even the importation of Bibles, etc. Yeah, so let us not fool ourselves. Rowdy and they are poison, they are toxic, and they must be gotten rid of. Let's not waste time. That is given, and then we can move forward in terms of reconciling our situation and getting us back to where we ought to be. And let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hey, Lennox.
Hey.
Good night.
Good night to you.
Yeah, you hear me good?
Yeah? Yeah, loud and clear. Yeah, loud and clear, my friend.
Right. That thing for you play with short song with that thing.
Uh-huh.
And they don't try to bust my brain to show the man could talk that day. No, I remember when I used to work and I had to go to La Base.
Uh-huh.
To throw away old stuff, right?
Yeah.
You call it the Como Parliament. You go over, you just step aside, let the truck come, the shop fitting, and then they start it, and they never go like that. Then you go over Parliament. So this is the real Parliament.
Uh-huh.
For a man to come up with something so distasteful as that, in such a short space of time, it means to say this is something here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Had to be
The man alone say, "Oh, God, that you only take a come up in his mind." Just say something like that. Eh?
Yeah.
He hang around that, or that hanging around him. That's all I could think about. You know, people call it all kind of thing. I say distasteful. The decent word. You know, today. But if I get here because he's rubbish as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, today they try to kidnap a businessman.
Yes, yes. And then that Kunupi, I think, was Shoguana's businessman, yeah.
Yeah, this one I think was in Lion Show. But you hear what the man say, Lennox?
Yeah.
When the fake police told him upside down, to lie down flat on his face. He said he prayed one time and tell God, he said, Father, I'm ready to go out here. You see the man safe and sound, Lennox? They ransack his house and everything, but he's alive. And I talk about God the other night, you can remember that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Your first thought is always God, is he gave you life. You call on him and he will answer you. And I want to tell you, same people I talk to the other night. If they can't get gun, or they have cutlass, but all they suspect is fake police and they come out your house to cheer you. Well, come out with your cutlass. If it's fake police, they go run. Just seeing that cutlass. The senior superintendent of this northern division right now, the man they bring from Secret, sir. He telling them only bad because they have a gun in their hand. Right? Everybody can get come outside with all your cutlass and you go see the big difference. And talk to God first. And come out there. And this thing will stop, Lennox.
Yes.
Short jump, come up with that answer by you.
He get pip.
Yeah,
he lost. Imagine he lost a wrong tongue.
That's the most distasteful thing that man can be so quick by. In seconds. In a split second.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I'm exchanging. He hanging around that. He grew up in that or he still in it. That's all I could think about. All I could say again about that, Lennox.
Yeah.
I hear my key program tonight and you let teacher well chastise him. On my key program.
Right.
She said no way he could be the leader of the PLM. The game good. My key will tell you anyone then.
Okay. I certainly going to look forward to that.
The man come up with that faster than Glenn Ford and the fastest gun alive, boy. Now for now. You watch the movie the man tell you about last night?
Boy, I didn't get around to it, but I'm going to do it tonight.
But listen to me. Don't just pull up wild geese, you know.
Wild geese, yes.
No, but don't put that alone. You might get the movie.
I hear you.
It's the wild geese. You have to put THC in front of it.
Oh, D. All right, okay.
Yes, THC. We go talk again. I want to come up with something.
Yes, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, and of course, the level of intelligence keep growing, of course, and we have to be amazed. The first caller, of course, talked about the whole question of Rowley putting his personal lawyer as the man in charge of the legacy issues with Petrotrin. Of course, we saw where it was a blatant scheme, a chicanery, a trickery to close down Petrotrin because Rowley's name was calling in the fake oil matter. And yet still, the very man at the center of the fake oil matter under a Rowley administration went to arbitration, got money, and got a renewed and bigger contract. You know why? You know why I'm focusing there? Because I want you to know, in other words, that if the yardstick you must use is that if it was Rowley and that happened under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, he would have been up and down the country crying and talking foul play. That is the point I'm making. that level of hypocrisy cannot be countenanced by any right-thinking Trinbagonian. And to let Rowley and they not account and get away with that nonsense. In other words, they are saying that they could do it, but others can't. In other words, they see in others that which is in them, and when they perform what they were denying and decrying previously, you must accept it because they said so. Hold on, little. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night, Lennox, California.
Yes, go ahead, my friend.
Here, sir.
Yes.
I just want to touch 3 points for you because I see you on Rowley case.
Yes.
Rowley say, right, when he was making his statement about Manning, what he do to Manning, and here he say,
yeah,
he from Tobago.
Yeah, Likoto.
Yeah, how we call it? What's that again? We call
Likoto.
it Mason Hall.
Yeah, Mason Hall.
He
Yeah,
said
but
he from Mason Hall.
that is close to Likoto.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, and which is close to Likoto. So the point I want to share, he from Mason Hall. He admit that he from Mason Hall.
All right,
what he doing in Trinidad?
Yes, okay.
What he doing in Trinidad? The people in Tobago don't want him. Right? Because they showed by the last election that they don't want him in Tobago. Yet that Tobago boy will be calling and telling you people say they don't want him in Tobago. What he doing in Trinidad? What happened to Trinidad? And they can't see what's going on there. The man clearly said he from Mason Hall in Tobago. So it had to be do something in Tobago and he run to Trinidad and hide it.
Yeah, well, of course.
Right?
I'll never say it one
Right.
time. Just pause. He raped, and he's a total pedophile. Go ahead.
Like he said that. Like he was saying that. We didn't say that. He said he from Mason Hall.
Yeah.
Another point is that
President, just hold on. We have another
he
call on.
said, he said that he was going around the stadium, the Oval one day, and he was in a car.
Yeah.
And he heard the ground report, right?
Yeah.
And he was listening to his favorite station. And he come out of the car and then he saying how he could allow this on the airwaves.
Yes.
And he had to do something about it. And it's all about me, my mother, my father, and I had raped this and I had raped that. Now, if the ground report says something about him, that he did rape this or he raped that, and he being a prime minister, he's supposed to carry that matter to the court.
Of course.
And seek redress and claim him as a prime minister. So the question is, why he didn't carry the matter to the court and carry the ground report to the court and let the ground report answer for the claim that they make that it's all about he and the mother and the father and the
Because
but he
truth.
chose to use the political influence and to deal with all politically.
That's right, exactly.
And not through the court.
That's right. Go to the top of the class.
So because if he carry all to court, the whole country going to know when the matter come out and you drop the evidence in him, what's going to happen to him. So he don't want to go that way, but he using the political influence.
That's right.
And the political powers. And look and see what he do with all that. I don't know what went down between all that one for, but I just showing you that. Right?
Go to the top of the class. Go to the top of the class. I'm telling you, go to the top of the class, to the tippy top. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead. Yes.
I had another point, but I will call you back.
All
you
right.
continue with the topic I'm listening.
Yes. No problem. Only to say that since he want to take me to court for calling him a rapist and a pedophile, as I did tonight as well, that I will be taking him to court because I already sent him a pre-action protocol letter for calling me a liar. Let him prove that what I said about him and his first child and how he got Miss Allen to be his first child as having raped a student, let him go and explain that in court. It's just a matter of time. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome from San Fernando.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Hello, good night. Yeah. I'm calling from San Fernando. Yeah.
Yes.
Last Friday, I didn't get my cue. My barbecue. But you know something, let me tell you this. Even though I didn't get it, right? I heard that other callers last night say that it tasted well.
Yes, yeah. That thing was good, boy. But I didn't want you to stay in town until next day. So you had a decision to make.
No, but I'll tell you something. Yeah, I was well treated by the George Street residents.
Okay, good. That's good. Well, at least there's a bit of compensation for of course, that tardiness that we had in delivering.
Yeah.
But we had some challenges.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Thanks for your understanding.
But I want to say this. Even before I came onto George Street, I went by a friend, not too far. And whilst I was there, I was listening to the radio. Now, there was an interview somewhere around, I think it was about 11:30.
Okay.
On Friday gone. That interview took place, I can't remember the station it was on.
All right.
But that interview took place with Mariano Brown and the person who was interviewing him.
Right.
I can't remember her name either. But I think it was a woman who was interviewing him. Now, she asked Brown, now, all these PNM people doing the same kind of thing. I don't know why they're doing it, right? But it's rather stupid. She asked Mariano Brown, do you see any improvements for the economy over the next couple of years? That was the general basis of the question.
Okay. All right.
You know what Mariano Brown said? Neither the PNM nor the UNC can improve the economy. Neither the PNM nor the UNC can improve the economy. So which means you're telling me that the PNM failed.
I hear you. I understand the psychological impact that statement was supposed to have. Because they are so steeped in their mono focus on the PNM. So in other words, let PNM stay there. That is all they can conclude.
No, he went all over the place, right, talking about the war in Ukraine and the limited amount of gas that we have. Now, but the question remains is, I wanted the person who was interviewing him, I wanted her to ask this question: where did he get all his data from? You know, and that question she never asks. Now, if you want to improve the economy of Trinidad or anything like that, you have to take into account the welfare of the country. Comes first. You have to use the resources of the country wisely. Therefore, investing in people is the thing that you should be doing. You have to give people the opportunities to do something with their lives. And if you're not doing that to improve the economy, because if you're a young person and people don't invest in you, right, wisely, you understand? And I don't have to go too far to prove this, you know.
Yeah.
It's right or wrong as most times, right? When people invest in people wisely, right? You get a kind of spin off from all of these things. When people invest in it, crime will go down. And the PNM people don't seem to understand that, you know. I don't know why, you understand?
Yeah, there's an interconnectivity. There is a matrix that one would lead to the other, and as a consequence, your ultimate objective will be realized. You're quite right. That seemed to be a far-fetched notion by the PNM in particular. I don't know why.
So you see, they flitted away in 9 years. They flitted away the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. It's like a flit gun. One pull on the trigger and like everything gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why and all of them seem to have this basic idea that they just jump all over the place and not tell you exactly what it is that could be done to improve the lives of people in Trinidad.
Yeah.
So this is my contribution here tonight, and I'll call you back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, of course, for your contribution, and of course, yeah, and I cannot overemphasize that if the AV drilling matter was under the Kamala Prasad Bisasa administration, Rowley would have been hopping up and down the country. And don't tell me you don't understand what I'm talking about, because you had a storm in a teacup with respect to the Section 34. Storm in a teacup had no impact on anything. It didn't take anything from it. All they did, they went to Parliament and they withdraw that section of the law in question. You also had the Rishmi affair. Rowley blow it out of proportion. Not just a storm in a teacup. Not just a storm in a teacup. But making a big deal of nothing. So you must know, and you cannot give any kind of relenting of a hard position on Rowley, having regard to the fact that was a con man job, a criminal behavior, misbehavior in public office. And whether you see it as malfeasance or misfeasance, it has all the ingredients, in addition to the perversion of the course of criminal justice, because that whole thing was designed to sanitize the documents by putting his lawyer as the chairman of the company that would be dealing with all of those matters. And so he believed he could get away. I say to you, once he gets out of office, as we would show him his marching orders, blue lights and silver bracelet must await them by virtue of the criminal investigative and criminal justice process. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night.
Hey, Lennox, me again.
Yes.
If Mariano Gong say that,
Yeah.
Mariano Gong already say he's a lifetime member of the PLM. So he ain't gonna say nothing different. Gregory Aboud, when they killed Miguel Moses' sister.
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
Yes.
Gregory Aboud, he took his said, you know what he said? No government can stop this crime. Imagine he looked up to play politics and our man's sister just to get killed. Miguel Moses. You remember when they killed his sister? If Miguel Moses did hit some hard lash and Jerry, my sister just yelled and you talking politics. So Mariano go talking the same thing because all of them seeing you writing on the wall. That's so?
Yeah.
Mariano go seeing you writing on the wall. I listen out.
Of course.
And you know it better than me.
And Mariano Brown, Devon Mirage,
Yes.
none of them could help them. What I am disappointed about is the or should I say, the lack of potency and presence of the religious elements in the society. I have a problem with that. Everything else is working. The trade union position are clear. Those who were the enemies of the UNC have now, of course, coalesced and with a few, of course, sprinkling of what I consider to be irrelevance. But by and large, the population itself at the grassroots level is ready. The only people that are not being vociferous, that are expected to be vociferous, is, of course, the religious ecclesiastic class in the society. And I'm having a difficulty with that. I'm not saying that they are not seeing the light privately, but I think they have a duty and responsibility to speak out publicly.
But they ain't doing it.
Yeah, but they ain't doing it as yet. And I want to say as yet. I'm still giving them, of course, opportunity, even though, of course, that window of opportunity is rapidly closing as we move inexorably to the next elections that must be called next year.
The body is strangling Mariano Gong and Aboud and all them fellas.
Yeah. So their ambiguity and their equivocality on matters of this nature is monumental, is clear. But of course, I think it would be totally embarrassing for them if they say, like, for example, if you ask a question, which one of the two parties you believe can better manage the affairs of the country? Then, of course, you have them in a quagmire, and you'll force them to say, if they say PNM, they know they're looking like an ass. And if they say UNC, well, of course, it cements and put another cog in favor of the UNC to advance. They don't want that. So don't be surprised if they choreograph the questions that they are made to answer. Yeah. In order, of course, to save face and to still maintain that duplicitous position, that dual personality that these people continue, of course, to display against the interests of the majority of the people. Yeah.
No respect for themselves.
No respect, yeah. I mean, I could have any respect for people like Roger and, of course, the former independent Senator Drayton, or even a former judge who resigned from the Integrity Commission. What's his name? Ventor. Yeah.
Ventor.
I can't have respect for them. No. They were once in the position of high esteem and swaying public opinion, and people would listen to them. These days, they don't even talk because they know nobody is studying them, because they are proven to be unadulterated and pure hypocrites.
According to University Sheriff tonight, but my kid will tell you in the morning.
Yeah.
They're shaking like they're shaking and trembling, because they know they got lost the election.
Yeah. Obviously, they're shaking. And then they will only talk to themselves. You see them going mad in the parliament. Let me play that before, of course, I play Rowley and his new position on the on the property tax. You wouldn't believe what this man said in the parliament. I was shocked. Just as how I wasn't surprised, but still shocked as to what Imbert would have said in terms of trying to pacify and to reduce the impact of the wait until 2027 statement that they would have made. I mean, it is just amazing, stupendously foolish, but they're bold-faced enough to come in people's face and look like asses.
But they're abolishing the property tax,
Yeah, it's about property tax. But wait until you hear him. You won't believe. All right, my friend. All right, I'm going to play him just now. All right, friend.
All right.
Later. Yes. Yes, indeed, of course. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night to you, Lennox.
Yes, a pleasant good night to you as well.
Lennox,
yes, hey.
and to everybody out there. I heard you talking about the churches are very quiet, that you thought they would have been more vociferous.
Yes.
Let me take you back a little bit down memory lane.
Go ahead.
In 2013, at OWTU Interfaith Service, Nolly Clark, with the thick fence mouth, stand up at their service and telling the union that they must keep the government on their toes. Don't let them mistreat workers. Keep them on their toes. What are we seeing today? What are we seeing since 2015? And not a word from the churches. Not a word from the unions. Not a word from anybody. Everybody have pip. They have pip.
Well, the unions are talking out at least, but you realize the churches are pretending they don't have any mouth. They don't have a voice box.
Yeah. They took a vow of secrecy.
Yes, secrecy. That's
right.
Of silence.
Yes. Yeah, right? No, but Lennox, since 2015, what has been going on with the government, the unions should have been more vociferous.
I agree. Better late than never.
Do you realize it is only a certain section of the OWTU came out last year and openly supported the UNC, and another section was vexed? But they said that they don't care. They have nothing to do with that. They see things going wrong in the country and they're going to talk.
Yes.
Right? Up to now, Roger and all of them has not been as vociferous as they should be,
I agree.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, I agree. They're going forward with the handbrakes up, but not that high up, so that we can't hear them. But of course, in terms of the church, they seem to have shut us out and zip up the mouth.
Yeah, but let me go to the churches now.
Yes.
That big mouth, horse mouth one that they call Harris, Archbishop Harris.
Yes.
Stood up on a platform, right, in 2014 and talk about what he have a list of the people that were leaving the country in droves because of the crime situation. It was right after Rowley came out with the email, right? And he so wanted to believe what Rowley was saying, right? That when the reporter asked him, he said if something was done wrong for political power, they should pay the price. Where is his mouth today, although he's resigned? They know Rowley lied. They know he lied. But because they hated the Indian government, they couldn't say, they prefer not to say anything against Rowley, right? He said that he have a list of all the people leaving the country in droves because of the crime situation. Today we have 518 murders in less than 290 days. Where are their voices? Where are the voices? That next hypocrite they call Archbishop Berkeley of the Anglican Church. In 2015, at that Easter Day message, he said, hold on, a resurrection is coming, right? A resurrection will deliver the people. He said we cannot have a government because Lennox, he took everything that Rowley was saying onto the pulpit. We cannot have a government sharing land for the friends and the family and the financiers. We cannot have a government practicing nepotism and cronyism. We cannot have a government that indulges in all the wrong things. But hold on, a resurrection coming. We got the resurrection. And what was the resurrection? Lennox? It was not a good resurrection. And where are their voices now, Lennox? Where is Archbishop Berkeley's voice now? Not a word in English. But he came out. What would be in October? I think it was August or September when they finally opened that Anglican school in Maruga or somewhere there, right? And he feels shame to say after 10 years that school has now been opened. But the way he talked, you could hear the disappointment. You could hear the disappointment in his voice.
Yeah, they disguise
but yesterday wouldn't come out and say yes.
Incognito.
Yes, he still wouldn't come out and say 10 years because the partnership government started that school for them. And he thought he was getting it the next day when Rowley get into office, It took them 10 years and he said it. It was a shame that these children had to wait 10 years for a school. Right? And look at today, and as you rightly said, nobody's coming out. Daughter in that next hypocrite could have come and talk about Khadijah's sex life. But the amount of murders got going on in the country, he can't talk about it. All of them, they are a bunch of mocking pretenders. And I make no apologies for Lennox.
No, you ought not to. I do expect you to. I will be disappointed if you do. They must be told as it is that they are mocking pretenders.
Yes.
They are hypocrites.
They
are selective in terms of their choices.
Selective memory syndrome.
Yeah, where the population
memory syndrome,
welfare is concerned. Yeah.
If it is that they could have opened their voices, right? They could have shouted from the pulpit.
Yes.
All what the UNC was doing wrong, the partnership government was doing wrong. Why can't you do the same now?
Yes, of course, now, yes. I agree.
Lennox, they are seeing. I am absolutely sure they don't miss anything. They saw what Rowley did with the well, we know he lied about the email.
Yes.
We know he lied about the Section 34, right? We know. Look at what he did with the Integrity Commission. All that all they're not talking about. Okay, if all they don't want to talk about that, what about the murders? What about the murders? Lennox, this place going through. And I'll remind you about something.
Go ahead.
Rowley talk about Section 34. Rowley pound Section 34 right across this country.
Yeah,
and nobody benefited from Section 34.
Yes, right.
But PNM had full Section 34.
Yeah.
And everybody benefited.
Rishmi
Malcolm
as well.
Jones benefited.
We didn't lose as a result of the Rishmi affair, but he converted that into something so sinful.
Into something.
Yeah, so devastating. When in fact he's stealing and robbing at will. Look at the Police Service Commission. Look at, of course, Petrotrin. Look at, of course, Vincent Nelson. Look at Brent Thomas. And we can go on and on.
Right. Look at him. Where did he take the merit list?
Yeah.
You didn't hear a word from the Catholic Church either.
Yeah, that is immoral, that is unethical. How the hell you are no longer what I consider the superintendent of morality and ethics in the country and what is right and wrong. Then it means therefore what you have done is you are endorsing wrong in the country and making wrong
That's
right.
right.
And that is
by keeping
highest
silence.
degree of hypocrisy.
Silence is not an option.
That's right.
When things going wrong, silence is not an option. Lennox, PNM had 4 Section 34. Malcolm Jones, Karen Eunice Teixeira, when she signed that MOU to bail herself out.
And took out her own money.
Right. $11 million. Right? Then you had Andre Monteil with the home mortgage
Home
bank
mortgage bank that he tried to buy because of his position.
Right.
Yes.
And he took out, and they gave him full control of it. He took out 110 million in shares. And when Manning get to find out, all Manning tell him was, put it back.
Put it back, yes.
He sold it back
get
to
a slap
Calder
on the wrist, yeah.
A slap on the wrist. He sold it back to Calder for 130 million, making a profit of 20 million. And then, of course, we had the ANV drilling. That was another Section 34. But nobody saying nothing about it. But you know, Lennox, if I'll leave you know what it is I want to remind you of.
Go ahead.
When UNC internals was in progress, PNMites pushing them out in it. Oh, Kamala had to go. Why Kamala don't go and get somebody else a chance? Rowley put off internals and not a word from them.
Well, let me tell you something. People like you and I, the esoteric, the ones who are knowledgeable, would know who would be making the most noise are these set of empty vessels. Trying to influence the outcome of the UNC by, of course, trying to destabilize the party. But it has not worked because evil cannot prevail over good. That is the simple essence of it, and we're going to see that more and more manifesting itself, whether people do the right thing or not. Who was swaying some kind of public opinion and influencing people. We have seen, of course, Father Harvey. He has hightailed to Grenada and telling the Grenadian parishioners, listen, don't get involved in politics. I wonder why. I wonder why.
But he was
because after he did what he did, he was hogtied in Gonzales in his presbytery. So he had a bad experience. So he's telling them, no, don't get involved. But he had a right always to be neutral.
But Lennox, you know what? We're going to make them shame.
Of course.
Because they were pushing in their mouth in UNC business.
That's right.
And today, Rowley put out convention, Rowley put off internals, and nobody asking why.
Yes.
Nobody asking why. Nobody saying a word in English, but we will deal with them. Lennox, thanks for listening to me and have a good night.
Same to you, my dear, but I could hazard a guess why he put it off, because I'm sure he would have been hearing the echoes of those persons who were in the St. James meeting when they said Rowley must lie, Rowley does lie, Rowley does lie, and afterwards he converted the campaign, the local government campaign, to, of course, a meeting with the Prime Minister in within closed doors. And so that's the same thing in his face. People are saying, I ain't going there. Rowley too damn wicked, Rowley too damn evil, Rowley too damn thief. Rowley too damn despicable. The man is a dictator. He is obnoxious, and he never deserved to be the leader of the party. That is what the people are saying. That is why he has to postpone it.
But Lennox, tonight, Karen Eunice Teixeira on Mikey's program hinted at it. Hinted at it as to why.
Good.
And you know what? One of the things that she revealed is that the 8,000 people that voted for Rowley in the last election were mostly CPEP and URP people. They are not paying members, Lennox. They are not paying members.
They can't vote. How they might to vote, because some slipshod.
All right, Lennox, take care and have a good night.
Yes, some slipshod underhanded system was put in place, because it's typical of him always want to get an unfair advantage. In other words, thief your own internal elections. Don't put it beyond him. A pleasant good night to you. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you watch the movie, boy?
Huh?
You watch the movie?
If I watch you wake?
The movie, The Wild Geese, you watch it?
Oh, not yet. I watch it tonight. Your partner in Tagarigua just Yes, ask me the same question.
Well, boy, you better give me Takarigo number here. Let me call you. Look at a real movie, strong boy.
Yeah.
He's a live up there, Yeah, give me the number. He look like he used to lime outside that cinema, boy.
Yeah. You have a real movie, man. I mean, it's several movies he asked me to watch from time to time, all of which had the lessons that he said you can learn from it. Yes.
You know all the classics.
Yes.
Lennox, they kidnap an ex-man, boy.
There's that?
They kidnap an ex-man, some furniture man.
In top of the fella from Shogolas?
Yeah, same police outfit I see here in Missouri.
Oh my goodness.
You had a little clip there with that?
Alright, okay, yeah, it has to be another one. Has to be another one, yes. Well, I'm not surprised, but I just wanted to know if it was not stale news, but because this is fresh news. Alright.
It's the same police outfit again, you know. Same kind of
modus operandi,
yeah,
some senior officer is saying that they should change the uniform. So how many times they go change the uniform and Gary Griffin had changed the uniform for that same purpose? Now they say change it again. So how much time they go change it? And of course you know what I fear? That real police coming into a situation, people thinking is fake police, and then they deal with them sad. So you know what? The whole security system has now broken down. That is what's going to happen here. So it's the wild west in Trinidad and Tobago now.
I know the fake police on the real police Lennox.
Yeah, because I can easily say, I fear this false police. You bring a warrant for me, I say it's fake police, I'm not going no way. And if you try to handle me, I deal with you, and that's how it is. I could go in the court and assure.
These gangster boys.
Yeah.
It's these gangster boys doing that, and then them fellas is only skin and bones. If you watch them good, you're gonna make them out. Because when I see the fellas when them come there to kidnap the man, right?
Yeah.
One of them skinny and maga. I think he can't be no damn police. A couple of them real thin.
Yeah, but
police don't be skinny like that boy.
The size is irrelevant. What is important is the authoritative way you'll be speaking, and especially if you are armed, you want to walk.
But I just tell them from sight. I know them from by sight.
I hear you.
They don't open them up by me.
I
know them by sight, Lennox. Because the fella, he can't fit in the clothes he was wearing. Okay. He was looking real jokey, one of them.
All right.
He can't be no policeman.
All right.
And furthermore, all they're talking about the churches, they go get back them out when the UNC come in power. Because you know what them like? They just talk about a lot of idolatry. First thing they say, idol worshiping and the country like that. Is what they do. And they don't blame the PNF for going on, no. If you ask them now, they go say, these Hindu people or whoever it is, working thing behind closed doors to make the country like this. That's what they say. These PNF people will be saying that, I'll be listening to them. They say that Indian people doing that.
Right.
That's what they be saying. And the pastor is nothing but the stranger. They just come out and direct the clergy to go and vote who they had to vote for. Right. I just be in the churches and I just hear them, you know. I just hear what the pastors be telling them. And before Kamla leave office, they used to say Kamla was on a hospital in a helicopter flying through the four corners of Trinidad and throwing milk from the helicopter. Yeah. And one pastor used to be saying that right true. And she caused the unrest in the country and the turmoil. Everything she caused, all the corruption. That
I used to hear a fella from San Grande talking at Center Hogwash. I wanted to know which devil is his leader.
Well, he continues doing that, you know. He wouldn't stop.
No, he's stopping because, of course, because it is nestled in race and a tradition, which of course I will be discussing tomorrow. I think the discussion started on the ground report this morning, and I think I better give people an appreciation as to what we have been doing in places like Laventille to address this madness, this gravitation, this brainwashing, this inculcation of a WAP loyalty that really and truly is totally misplaced and is suicidal, frankly, physically, life and limb, as well as politically. We will discuss that tomorrow night.
Well, boy, there's a whole discussion with that.
Oh yes. But I think I could be as compendious and as as summative as possible. Having regard to my own experience and my own knowledge, having been, of course, in the bowels, so to speak, on the forefront of that kind of transformation that was not yet fully realized, but incrementally, of course, I believe that with the fullness of time and the flux of time, we will get there.
So what going on with your partner, Stewie boy? Zalmi, how does Zalmi get back him out?
Well, I don't know. One and two, I heard something, but somebody tell me about Julia Davy. So they sent me something tonight. So I will take a look at it and find out.
I was listening to that, because she was crying wolf, and she get money, and she was shop him out. Because I know them is them so right. Them is only attack. Them is like dog. When you tell them go forward, they attack like that. But when you get them the food, they're growling.
Yeah, well,
growling,
this Russian despotic or dictator, Stalin, he gave a demonstration with a fowl. He plucked off all the wings and the all of the feathers, and the bird is all bloody. And of course, as soon as he rested down, it tried to run away from him. But then he put some grains of corn from where the bird stood to his feet, and it came right back for more punishment. So that is these people. But thank God they are in the minority. Thank God that they are a dissipating bunch. Thank God that they are now in jeopardy. Thank God that they are becoming extinct because of people like yourself and we, of course, doing what we are doing on a nightly basis. Never before have there been such an avalanche of course, different views consistent with the experiences of the people, the majority of the people, that they will have no choice when they go to the polls to do the right thing and, of course, elect a government that is sympathetic to their cause. I'm talking about Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC.
You see people like who you call it, Davy and them. You see that stinking smear campaign she had at the beginning of the year on that station, where she attacked the leader of the opposition needlessly and called the woman all kind of nasty name. And she even went as far as to talk about the same thing like she would do there, So
yeah, that's all right. They can't influence one bit. They are ad hominem, and of course they are intellectually depraved, and of course clinically sick, frankly, to see, because I mean people like that live in the very community that Rowley and they are generating the kind of pain, ache and agony, and they will pretend that it doesn't exist. That is a classic case of suicidalism. Yeah.
When karma come back for them, it's Stuart Young, everybody else who is with
yes, poetic justice, some call it. Yeah,
let them take their medicine now. I don't feel sorry for none of them.
Of course, you cannot feel sorry for them when the table turns. You just ignore them, and you, as a human being, and you gravitate to where the grass is greener, and that you can do something, of course, to help the masses that have been so deprived, and of course, not just deprived, but was deliberately emasculated because of the greed and the mismanagement and the quest for power by this small group of individuals under an organization called the PNM that has morphed into a criminal enterprise. Yes, all right. Thank you. Of course, it's about time, people. It is nearing, of course, it is 20 minutes until the hour 10 o'clock. I thought I would have been able to play Heinz, the one I played last night in terms of the madness that took place in the parliament. Let me just try to do it quickly. I'm going to skip parts of it just to give you a recollection, because what they are doing in lieu of as a substitute for their incompetence and impotence, they engage, of course, in activities that is ocious, irrelevant, that does not, of course, augur or increase our optimism and opportunities, but they engage in that kind of approach in their own little cocoon, believing that somehow the people will in perpetuity take that level of hogwash. Let's hear them. see if I have it there. Sure that I have it, yes, okay. Oh no, alright, let me just put it on.
Don't fall my name. Hey, boy, quick, my quick.
Alright, let me pause it and of course I take this call. I hope it's the last one. Let me just take it here. Pleasant good night, welcome. Welcome, pleasant good night. Okay.
Last point, right?
Yeah, let me
You
tell
see
you.
that thing you're gonna run it? You see how you're gonna run it?
Yes.
You hear me?
Go ahead.
Right, I want to listen to it good.
Alright.
You know, they had a matter of time raising in Parliament. Where Rowley and them was bringing in people, killed from that from Venezuela.
Yes.
And they was going down Shaka Cabana, down Shagamas down on that side.
Yeah.
And they were lining with some big man down there who had a hotel and whatnot.
Yeah. Bullet to call it. Bullet.
Right, then he was saying it's the people in Philip City were bringing in the woman and them. And that's what he said.
Yeah.
Right.
But of course they go try to deflect attention and say it's
this one, this clip here. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you're playing this clip here, listen to what Stuart Young saying, who are bringing the woman and who they're bringing the woman for and who they go give. So if they're bringing in women and they share women among themselves and they're giving this one and giving that, what again they're bringing with the women and them. So you see they're selling all the stuff easy.
Oh yeah. The only time who the God goes to destroy. Yeah, the first time that man.
Listen to it and they're going to hate. Right?
Okay.
That was one of the points.
Alright. Thank you. That's it? Alright. Yes indeed. People, let's go straight to that clip quickly.
You can't use the TCT buses anymore though, but you can bring the games all, you know, including cameras. You're going to use it back here? Yeah, Zami. Hey, don't fall my name. Where are you? Hey, we're cool in the mic on. Did you contact the boss?
Clip of some children from one of our schools in the West. Young girls behaving in a manner like hyenas in the African jungle.
Parents who breed monsters at home and send these monsters to teachers.
Well, I want to tell Mr. Mr. tonight, that is none of your goddamn business. Because as long as Sharon is happy with how much I have outside and how much I had inside, Rowley's happy with that. At least what I had outside and what I have inside, they escape and they're alive.
Her words are slurred. She's falling all over the world. In the car, out the car. Nah. No man dig up my bottom like that. Nah. No man dig up my bottom like that.
I mean, there's some people who know they can go on, you know. Kamla Prasad, Bisesa, and the UNC go and put that bill where the monkey put the nuts. I'm telling you, like she doesn't know the man. And because she knows that I love women, she thinks I love anyone. I have taste. A lawyer who was on the verge of being your attorney general. Sucking from the diplomatic family, and she could jump high, she could jump low, she could drink this, she could drink that, she could back on the door, we could bring more shit.
Coming with a quote, they're telling you, vote for Kamala. That is tantamount to hugging up a porcupine to go to bed. Go post in that room. You gotta get him with it. Otherwise, if it turns into a pasture.
I choose my words very carefully. I choose my words very carefully. You can behave as an effective opposition leader. I think the country is better for that. But geometry is not really going to give you these things. 1/3 of the murders in recent times are domestic violence or domestic issues.
And then that, you call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men. Call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men.
Well, he will run girls now for all in the back room. You can't use the PTSD buses anymore, the way you bring the girls for all, including camera.
You're going to use the bathroom?
Yeah, Sharon Zami.
Hey,
Don't call my name.
hey, cool in the mic. Did you contact the boss?
You can't use the PTSD buses anymore, the way you bring the girls for all, including camera.
You're going to use the bathroom?
Yeah, Sharon Zami.
Hey, cool in the mic.
Yes, that is the level of conversation that this nasty, stinking, ugly, wicked, nefarious, putrid, latrine, yes, individuals will be discussing about, of course, another human being fundamentally. And you can't tell me that because they are your political enemy, you're going to stoop so low. Because they are naturally that. They see in others that which is in them. These predators. But let's go to the madness of Rowley and his new position in the Parliament with respect to property tax. You wouldn't believe.
For the record,
you wouldn't believe, people. His new position on property tax.
By my colleague from St. Augustine.
Only recently.
Fundamental to the politics and the belief to the next election.
Only last week in the Parliament.
That the UNC repealed the property tax. Madam Speaker.
Only last week in the Parliament, people.
What do I have to do to get them to stop saying that?
Let's go straight to the lines. Let me see if I could adjust.
Have a good night.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, caller. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good night, Mr. Lennox. Good night to everybody who was on the chat. Good night to Trinidad and Tobago and everybody. Mr. Lennox, listen now. I wouldn't be long here, but you know, every time I hear this thing about what Stuart Young did, it's you know, man, it's not only heart-wrenching, you know, but you can imagine if Stuart would like anybody to say that about his mother. Eh? Auntie Kamala is an elderly lady, right? She's a grandmother, right? The lady is a grandmother, right? And the woman is a distinguished, honorable woman. And this is all you could find to say about this woman, Stuart. Stuart, you have a mother, you have a sister, you have an aunt. What is wrong with you people? But let me tell all you something, Stuart Young, God will judge all you know, and all you will pay dearly. Don't feel as he, you know. On Judgment Day, you got to answer to God, boy. You're too evil, boy. Mr. Lennox, God bless.
Thank you very much. The power intoxicates and make men giddy, and these fellas are drunk like hell. Of course, it is also said that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Well, they are not just drunken, they are not just inebriated, but they are absolutely saturated, and of course, without doubt, have lost their way because of the evil that they would have perpetrated on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Misbehavior in public office, miscreants of an exceptional degree, and a total and absolute betrayal of their oath of office and the people, and undermining both our democracy and, of course, the electoral process in this country to stay where they are. And what? An auto coup, in other words. Let's go back, of course, to that position of Rowley, new position of Rowley in the Parliament on property tax. Listen carefully.
For the record, to deal with this statement made by my colleague from St. Augustine was fundamental to the politics and the belief to the next election. And that is that the UNC repealed the property tax. Madam Speaker, what do I have to do to get them to stop saying that? The challenge to the property tax was there, went to court, and it was not proceeded. And then, Madam Speaker, the government came to this parliament where some of them were present and enacted a waiver. And the waiver was for a specific period of time. That waiver ended by intervention and English letters in this parliament. The waiver ended, and thus the existing property tax law became force. That happened in 2014 to effect in 2015. So when we came in September 2015, the following couple of weeks, 1st of October 2015, the waiver would have died, the waiver would have expired, so that the Property Tax Act became in full force. I want to repeat that. As a result of the position taken here by Minister Larry Owai of the UNC in this place, the waiver that was being enjoyed, put there by them for political reasons, axed the tax. The axe became dull, and there was no axe after September of 2015. I became the leader of this team and Prime Minister on the 9th of September 2015. And from the 1st of October, the first new fiscal year, the Property Tax Act came back into force as enacted by the PNM. It was never repealed. And I don't want to use the word again because I don't want to annoy my colleague from Hoover, but it applies to St. Augustine. Madam Speaker, all of that is meant to fool the public. Because some people in this country trust them to speak the truth. But they're selling the pig in a bad market. They have a difficulty speaking the truth. What they did, they went to court and argued against the tax that I was paying since I was 17 years old.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel, the People's National Movement 15 Festival Lawn.
Morning. My name is Nisa Pay, and I'm happy to welcome you to the official launch of the 2015 Manifesto of the People's National Movement. I now invite, the political leader of the People's National Movement, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley.
We have about 20 or 25 minutes, and having detained the media for so long, we will be happy to take a few questions on any matter which you may want to raise in our...
Richards from TV6. What's the PNM's policy going forward on the fuel subsidy? The fuel subsidy
is not targeted for removal. The fuel subsidy is not targeted for removal.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel.
Let's go to the lines. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Last one for the night, but you see what he said there?
Yeah.
He said property tax was waived and had a deadline, right? In 2015. Yeah. But you hear what he's saying there? He said the property tax was waived. He didn't mention anything about rental value tax. So the tax that they're supposed to bring back was the one that was expired in September or November when they did call it. And that's property tax. Then bring back a rental tax. That is not what was waived. So he getting it mixed up, boss. If that to bring back the old tax, the one that was waived and the one that was supposed to come back from 2015. That was the one, not this one what they bring in here, Henry. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you. There's a bit, there's a nuance in your argument, but you have it pat down. But we need to tighten up a little bit. But let's finish the the discussion, and then of course we will evaluate. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, indeed, people. Let's continue to hear this man. I tell you a different version to what the man say in 2015. Listen to him.
People's National Movement 2015 Manifesto Launch.
The dreaded property tax. The dreaded property tax. I heard a UNC minister, I think it was the famous Prakash Ramadan, telling people that PNM will bring back the dreaded property tax. Let me make it abundantly clear. The property tax has already been dealt with. The property tax has already been dealt with. What the UNC government did a few years ago, they returned to land and building taxes in phases. They returned to land and building taxes in phases. The first phase of bringing the tax back was to treat with commercial properties. The second phase was agricultural properties. And the third phase, which they very willingly, knowingly put beyond the next election, is the residential. So as I speak to you now, arrangements are already in place, put by this UNC administration, put by this UNC administration, for land and building taxes, for residential properties to come back into being, after September 7th. That was done by Larry Hawaii when he became Minister of Finance. So for anybody in the government now to be telling the population that this PNM coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty which has been the hallmark of this UNC government. So I'm glad you raised it, so I make it abundantly clear. The tax for residential properties have already been put back in place to come into being in 2015, put there by the UNC government.
No. No. I know you are confused, and I know that you're saying that this man is duplicitous, that this man has to be a consummate, mentally and cognitively in absolute decline, that the Latin expression is applicable here, non compos mentis, of unsound mind. Because here it is in 2015. He's saying, he look at, what's happening here? Why am I getting this feedback? There's a feedback in the in 2015, let me just make sure. In 2015, I wonder if I did something wrong here. Let me just check and see. Let me just check and see, people are getting a feedback and not to get it on. Oh yeah, no why not. Okay. Yeah. Right, good, okay. Sorry about that, people. Alright. Got it fixed. Yeah, I had a crash course, so I'm able to adjust as I see fit. I was making a point that in 2015, Rowley was saying, listen, the PNM coming into government will not bring the property tax or revisit the property tax. In fact, it was dealt with because the Kamala Prasad Bissesa government through Larry Hawaii, who was the Minister of Finance at the time, said, listen, we are going to revert, yes, you have to pay a tax, but we will revert to the land and building taxes. There's a big difference. Because you will hear him last week saying that is a tax that he paid since he was 17 years. This man is a despicable, nasty, evil, wicked, and he lies so much that I believe he even lies to himself. He said only last week that since 17 years he was paying that tax, trying to fool us and to make us believe that property tax and land and building taxes, what he was paying since he was 17, is one and the same. That is the level of conspirators and, of course, cognitive and cerebral and intellectual dishonesty that this man engages in. Understand that. Yes, you must be angry as I am angry. Because he's trying to really manifest that all of us are fools, and that he could say that and not to be, of course, held up to account for what he said in the past. Well, I want to tell him, his asses, his grasses. Yes, indeed. That's what he told us. And if I was Kamala Prasad Bisesa, for example, because yes, that which Mani was attempting to implement since 2009, when he was challenging him, never materialized. But when Kamala and them came in, they said and manifested what they said. They said that they would not pursue property tax, and they did not. But the matter was still on the books. I agree with that. But if you were Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and I know she's not going to make the mistake again, but if you were Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and Rory was talking the same talk, the same language, that he will not implement property tax, that he will go back to land and building taxes, because Kamala and they have put things in place to go back to land and building taxes if they got into office in 2015. If they got into office, they did not. Rowley said in no uncertain terms that he will not implement property tax back in 2015. Today in the parliament, he is saying that he was paying that tax since he's 17 years. That wicked lying. You understand why I was playing from the beginning, of course, all the lies that a person could speak in song, in calypso, captured in calypso. The man is simply dishonest. He cannot tell the difference between truth and fiction. And every port for a storm in terms of attempting to extricate himself from the lies that he told before. And then, of course, getting himself tapped like a typical market crab. Once again, listen to him. Then, he said that he will not, a PNM under him, will not deal with property tax. He, by reference, agreed with Kamala Prasad Bisesa that they will go back into land and building taxes. That is why he said that property tax was already dealt with. In other words, Kamala and them going back to land and building taxes. The little $80, the little $70, the little $50 that you'll be paying at the revenue, in district revenue offices. That man come in 2014, in 2024, and in the 2025 budget debate and presentation, and tell us that, listen, they did not withdraw the tax, and therefore it was there for implementation. Who tell you, Rowley, that because they did not repeal it officially through the parliamentary process? What tell you that you have to implement it because them didn't repeal it? Hold your tail, hold your ass, where you feel people are fools or what? You feel people are fools. And then you have the audacity and the temerity and the gall to tell us, listen, you was paying that tax in 17 years. Hold your tail. Hold your ass. What are you telling me about? You feel people stupid or what? Let's go again. Back in 2015, he said that his government will not implement property tax. He went on to say that Kamala and they will be going back to land and building taxes. And I hold no brief for Kamala and them. But if I was Kamala as Prime Minister, and even if I am minded that in the future there must be no property tax, and of course she would have expected that she would get back into office in spite of Dr. Rowley's, of course, concocted and fictitious so-called emails and pieces of paper. In spite of that. But most importantly, I would have thought as Prime Minister that Rowley is an honorable man, because remember, nobody knew him except Manning, that what he really is, a conniving, lying, deceptive, conman, criminal, and speaks a heaping set of cacophonous orations, babblings, and always, of course, aggression being the best form of defense. Misogynic, nasty, and sick. Yes, people, he cannot come now in 2024 and telling us that he was paying property tax back in when he was 17 years of age. Who the ass he think he is? People, it was Manning who said, but you don't take Manning to say that, a liar is a blasted thief. And they say a thief is a killer. And he has 2 ministers that have been given the designation of the killing ministers. And now we have a 3rd one. So it is, of course, Hines, Scotland, and of course, the assassin. Well, of course, he is king killer because he recruit all of them. So it's a mafia. How could he be so disrespectful to our intelligence? How could you, Rowley? What kind of beast are you made up of? The man come in 2024 in the debate just last week and talking a different song altogether, a next version. And of course, you shouldn't be surprised because we extrapolated the different nuances, the different variables, the different arguments that he advanced for that one cause, to close down a petrol train. He started, of course, with the 850 million bullet payment. Yeah. Then he said, well, listen, they were importing 100,000 barrels of oil and they were losing $7 to $15. And then he come and say again that they were getting out of the business. And then they both come and say that they were making, in fact, money, and that we, in effect, by their decision, have lost the ability to intake, to augment, to increase, to bring in foreign exchange through the oil refinery. And mind you, anybody with a modicum of common sense will tell you that, listen, if the oil refinery was operating at the beginning of that war between, of course, Ukraine and Russia, boy, we would be bathing in money today. They will have to be struggling all over the place and hoodwinking, even though, of course, that is their nature. The man has a propensity. He is predisposed to lying and deception. Yeah. He has a predilection for that kind of evil. What the ass we doing with these fellas? Rowley, get the hell out of office now, boy. Yes, and I agree with those previous callers. Your days are going to be bitter in this land. You have to be living on the clouds between, of course, Trinidad and Tobago over the Bocas. Because Warner already said it. Camelot, Trinidad, and Fali, Tobago, and you will be and. But the and means you live above the blasted Bocas, or go to Venezuela and seek asylum. Go to Venezuela and seek asylum. What are you telling me about? And they say that, Ablam, they say that with a straight face. And as if people don't know, is he asked the plane, and that the plane maybe or auditioning at the same time for Larry Joseph, or to replace Larry Joseph and Tommy Joseph at the same time. That is the level of buffoonery we have at the helm of our affairs. The man is totally evil. So if I was Kamala, and at the time Rowley was an unknown, looking as though he's a man of integrity, so she did not go to the step of repealing. But even if she didn't repeal it, as was the case, you, Rowley, and the PNF is not obligated to implement it. You had an obligation to repeal it too, because you said that you will never implement property tax. You blasted fake. Hold your tail, hold your ass, your shit tongue. They're telling me about. It's about time these fellas understand that people are not foolish and you're insulting our intelligence on a daily basis. Listen to him.
To deal with this statement made by my colleague from the center.
Listen to him.
Fundamental to the politics and the belief to the next election. And that is that the UNC repeal the property tax. Madam Speaker, what do I have to do to get them to stop saying that?
Listen to him.
The challenge to the property tax was there, went to court, and it was not prosecuted. And then, Madam Speaker, the government came to this parliament with some of them were present and enacted a waiver. And the waiver was for a specific period of time. That waiver ended by intervention and English letter from this parliament. The waiver ended, and thus the existing property tax law became force. That happened in 2014 to effect in 2015. So when we came in September 2015, the following couple of weeks, 1st of October 2015, the waiver would have died, the waiver would have expired. So the Property Tax Act became in full force. I want to repeat that. As a result of the position taken here by Mr. Larry White of the UNC in this place, the waiver that was being enjoyed by them for political reasons, after tax, the acts became dull, and there was no acts. After September of 2015, I became a leader of this team with the Prime Minister on the 9th of September 2015.
Look at his body language. You would swear that he's serious. Joking, you know. A classic candidate for being caricatured, for being mocked and lampooned, make a joke of. He's a blasted joker. You come with another story again about property tax? And OU was paying that since 17 years? Hold your tail, boy.
What they did, they went to court. And I argued against tax that I was paying since I was 17 years old.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The People's National Movement 2015 Manifesto Launch.
The dreaded property tax. The dreaded property tax. I heard a UNC minister, I think it was the famous Prakash Ramada, telling people that the PLM will bring back the dreaded property tax. Let me make it abundantly clear. The property tax has already been dealt with. The property tax has already been dealt with. What the UNC government did a few years ago, they returned to land and building taxes in phases. They returned to land and building taxes in phases. The first stage of bringing the tax back was to treat with commercial properties. The second phase was agricultural properties. And the third phase, which they very willingly, knowingly put beyond the next election, is the presidential. So as I speak to you now, arrangements are already in place, put by this UNC administration, for land and building taxes, for residential properties to come back into being, after September 7. That was done by Larry White when he became Minister of Finance. So for anybody in the government now to be telling the population that this CNN coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty which has been the hallmark of this UNC government. So I'm glad that is this.
So I make it abundantly clear, the tax for residential properties have already been back places to come into being in 2015, put there by the UNC government.
People, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program.
I don't know why.
Yes, indeed, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. I trust that the emotions that I exhibited will not, of course, be a typical nightly feature. But if it is, don't blame me. Because of course I want to make certain that you understand that you have to be emotive, you have to be sincere, you have to be committed, you have to be dedicated, and so dedication and commitment will of course generate a kind of emotion, especially when people like Rowley, a big prime minister, a big man, a fellow with a doctorate, is trying to make an ass of us by of course lying to us incessantly and in most despicable significant circumstance. It is about bread and butter. It's about the future of Trinidad and Tobago. It's about our nation. And he must get the hell out of here. He must get the hell out of here. In spite of the fact that he's trying to avoid blue lights and silver bracelet. They must be jailed. Yes, indeed. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning, the Gong Report, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue, of course, to deal with these and other issues. Bye-bye.
Have money that they could full up the sea. So don't try to fool up my brain with lie. You know the woman gets across and they start to cry. She say they give money, I don't take. I say plenty money. She say wait, money by the buckets. Because I love them, I won't take it. Don't doubt me. If I tell you something, there are you gon' ball. They just give me motor cars and all. And she watching me straight in the eye. Oh Lord, that woman could lie.
That man could lie. He's damn lie. Yes, you people. See for what it is. Put that in your pipe, smoke it, and of course, make it indelibly implanted in the receptors of your brain. And that this man is no good for you. He's toxic, he's evil, diabolical. Have a wonderful rest of the night once again. And God bless you. See you, of course, tomorrow morning on the Gong Report.
I said, yes, honey bun, I am proud and glad to know you're only nice portion of Trinidad. She said, I can bring the receipt to show. I bought it from my Indian in Miaro. I have my own courthouse, did you know? I'm having my own jail tomorrow. And I would never lie to you, dear. I'm the owner of Woodford Square. High-low supermarkets, all is mine. You can get your goods free anytime. And I'm going to the moon in July. Bye-bye. That woman could lie. She damn lie.
a roaming. Rowdy mother working harder in the sun and rain. If you see this woman, she is nearly done. But the hard work she doing, everything for she son. All the pipers Stephen and doing what they want. Forcing Rowdy mother to take an account. All the pepper on the tree. All the bygone and the body. The plantain, the cucumber. The pumpkin, the sapoca. Even all the okra that turn every month. Rowdy mother, Rowdy mother, Rowdy mother, come. Rowdy mother tell Rowdy she don't know what to do. But what she really didn't know, he was Stephen too. The boy had been Stephen since he was very small, involved in corruption and all kind of bubble. So Rowdy mother decided to do some checking, but anytime she checked, things still missing. Sweet potato and cassava, broccoli and cauliflower, the papaya and the mango.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel, the People's National Movement 2015 Festival still on.
Morning. My name is Nisa Pei, and I'm happy to welcome you to the official launch of the 2015 Manifesto of the People's National Movement. I now invite, the political leader of the People's National Movement, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley.
We have about 20 or 25 minutes, and having detained the media for so long, we would be happy to take a few questions on any matter which you may want to raise now.
Richards from TV6. What's the PNM's policy going forward on the fuel subsidy? The fuel subsidy
is not targeted for removal. The fuel subsidy is not targeted for removal.
Live from the Hyatt Regency Hotel, the People's National Movement 2015 Manifesto launch.
The dreaded property tax. The dreaded property tax. I heard a UNC minister, I think it was the famous Prakash Ramadar, telling people that the PNM will bring back the dreaded property tax. Let me make it abundantly clear. The property tax has already been dealt with. The property tax has already been dealt with. What the UNC government did a few years ago, they returned to land and building taxes in phases. They returned to land and building taxes in phases. The first phase of bringing the tax back was to treat with commercial properties. The second phase was agricultural properties. And the third phase, which they very willingly, knowingly put beyond the next election, is the residential. So as I speak to you now, arrangements are already in place, put by this UNC administration, for land and building taxes, for residential properties to come back into being, after September 7th. That was done by Larry Hawaii when he became Minister of Finance. So for anybody in the government now to be telling the population that this PNM coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty, which has been the hallmark of this UNC government. So I'm glad you raised it, so I'll make it abundantly clear. The tax for residential properties have already been put back in place to come into being in 2015, put there by the UNC government. Statement made by my colleague from the Center